Puis, ben, ça faisait longtemps, ça fait 2 ans, je pense, qu'on a ce projet-là, 1 an et demi, 2 ans. Puis, ben, c'est à mon retour avec Simon du réservoir du Moyen, on était un petit peu perturbés, pour ne pas dire sur le cul, vu que j'ai pas de micro. Puis, j'ai contacté Jean-Charles, qui est bon, un ami proche, puis enquêteur ufologue aussi, donc on peut partager des choses. J'ai expliqué en gros ce qu'on avait vécu au téléphone, mais il dit non, il dit je m'en viens chez vous. Il est parti de Mont-Saint-Hilaire. Il reste à Mont-Saint-Hilaire, jusqu'à la Minerve.
Ouais.
Il a amené mais il a amené son matos, comme ils disent eux autres en France, parce que lui, il savait qu'on avait tout filmé pendant 4 jours. Il visualisait ça. Il dit, je pense qu'on a la première émission. Mais, parce qu'on a déjà commencé à filmer. Ça fait depuis, je pense, c'est 2012, quelque chose comme ça, qu'on a commencé à... Merci Jean-Charles, puis
merci
présente-nous
beaucoup.
ça.
Bonjour à tous, merci. Ça fait quelques temps que je connais Marc et moi, mon travail à la base, je suis réalisateur d'effets spéciaux pour différentes compagnies, aussi bien France, États-Unis. Et j'ai eu la chance de pouvoir côtoyer des gens d'Hollywood. Alors, mes capacités, actuellement, je voulais faire des reconstitutions avec Marc, mais on s'est dit, faire des reconstitutions, c'est un petit peu mélanger les gens. Parce que des bonnes reconstitutions, après on ne sait plus où est le vrai du faux. On a décidé de faire quelque chose d'authentique, de filmer les gens, les vraies personnes, donc ce sont les témoins qui ont vécu cette expérience, des vrais dessins, et puis l'authenticité est que les gens qui témoignent là, ce ne sont pas des acteurs qui vont jouer le rôle des gens qui ont vécu la scène. C'est ce qui est beaucoup plus poignant et crédible surtout, et puis ça rentre encore plus dedans. Alors j'ai décidé de mettre mes capacités au service de ce qu'on est en train de faire pour le MUFON. Je compte pas les heures et les nuits que je passe dessus. Merci mon amour de supporter tout ça. Et Dieu sait si j'en passe. Bien, et donc en fait, je suis aussi investigateur, donc enquêteur auprès du MUFON. Ça fait 2 ans qu'on a démarré cette aventure, moi et Marc, où nous avons eu la chance d'être diplômés. C'était quand même assez costaud le test, hein. Je répète ce qu'il a dit, mais c'est vrai. C'est un bouquin comme ça, tout en anglais. Quand l'anglais n'est pas ta langue native, il y a quand même des choses qui sont assez coriaces dedans. Bref, on l'a eu. Nous sommes allés en Californie, où j'ai eu l'immense honneur d'avoir été nommé ou nommé, hein, nommé directeur adjoint pour le Québec. Merci. Par le Big Boss, là-bas, c'était assez impressionnant parce que je ne m'y attendais pas du tout, même si on avait glissé 2-3 mots, j'étais un peu sur le cul. Surtout à 8 h du matin, tu ne t'y attends pas entre le café et le croissant.
Alors Jean-Charles, comment on est lorsqu'on s'en va accomplir quelque chose qu'on attendait depuis longtemps?
Ben, je dirais que j'étais un petit peu fatigué parce qu'on s'est réveillé très tôt ce matin. Et puis que ben, c'est une grande aventure qu'on va vivre. Surtout qu'on va au plus grand congrès qui est dans la capitale même du MUFON, puisque c'est là le quartier général. Alors, je pense qu'on va en prendre plein les yeux et plein les oreilles. Un peu défoncé. Je te dirais que j'ai hâte d'aller prendre, piquer une tête dans la piscine de l'hôtel pour que ça me réveille un peu. On est fatigué parce qu'on est énervé, on est stressé, on est content, c'est un bon stress. On s'en va quand même à un endroit, beaucoup aimeraient être là. Eh bien, on est là pour vous, chers amis. Et vous allez suivre nos aventures. Et quelle aventure?
On va ramener des bonnes informations.
Oui, exact. Alors, M. Benjamin,
on est au-dessus de l'Utah. Super intéressant. Puis en direction de la Californie. On devrait rencontrer toutes sortes de gens intéressants dans le cadre du MUFON international. Je suis avec le directeur adjoint Jean-Charles Moyen. Puis ça devrait être super intéressant. J'ai très hâte d'arriver, surtout que c'est 7h30 d'avion au total. Ça rentre dans le cadre, ça aussi. Mais avec le décalage horaire favorable à nous, parce qu'on gagne quelques heures, mais ça va nous donner l'impression justement d'arriver, puis on a encore une bonne partie de la journée devant nous. Donc on s'en va pour la suite.
Donc Jean-Charles, est-ce que tu peux parler un peu de cette fin de semaine au congrès, au Symposium international du MUFON? Est-ce que tu as vu des choses intéressantes? Je sais que pendant qu'on regardait la conférence qui avait un certain rapport avec... au moment où on regardait la conférence qui avait rapport avec les néphilim,
Oui.
j'ai vu qu'il y avait un certain intérêt de ta part à ce moment-là.
Ben écoute, ouais, pour dire la vérité, on pense être au courant de tout, peut-être pas tout, sans aucune prétention, mais quand on entend ce qu'il dit, on se rend compte qu'on est très très loin de la vérité. Et que ça fait des milliers et des milliers d'années qu'ils nous visitent.
Donc, si tu continues sur cette lancée à propos de ce que tu as vu avec les néphilim.
Oui, disons que les néphilim, tout ce qui a un rapport avec la Bible et puis toutes ces affaires-là, le conférencier est allé très très loin dans ses théories. Ce ne sont même plus des théories, il avait des photos d'empreintes de pieds qui faisaient je ne sais plus combien de taille, des géants qui faisaient 16 pieds de haut. En tout cas, on en a pris plein les oreilles et plein les yeux. Ce sont des gens de renom, encore une fois, des gens qui connaissent des détails sur l'histoire, qui ont fait comment dirais-je, des recherches poussées, approfondies. Ici, on est dans le gros calibre. On n'est pas dans...
ce qui est au niveau de la conférence de Jamie Monson.
Oh! Ah, Jamie. C'est un personnage. Des vidéos, footage sur des ovnis. Puis j'en suis encore... ma mâchoire serait encore si on est loin des petites vidéos YouTube.
Donc tu étais impressionné par ce que tu as vu, tu t'attendais pas à ça.
Ouais, impressionné, je sais pas s'il n'y a pas un superlatif supérieur à ça, parce que je dirais à terre, complètement à terre, des images d'ovnis qui rentrent et qui sortent du soleil, des ovnis qui rentrent dans un volcan, une femme photographiée assise sur un rocher sur Mars avec la sonde Curiosity qui a pris des photos. C'est sûr à 99,9% que c'est réel. Des comètes qui viennent de l'espace avec des engins qui suivent la comète. Comment on peut encore en 2015 imaginer que tout ça est faux? C'est impossible, 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 impossible. Et on est encore traité de fous, de déséquilibrés ou quoi que ce soit, mais je sais qu'il faut que les gens aient leur propre pensée, respecter, etc. Mais là, ça va trop loin. Ça va vraiment trop loin.
Mais ce qui était intéressant dans les conférenciers ici, personnellement, ce que j'ai trouvé, c'était le sérieux des recherches et la crédibilité des conférenciers qui donnaient du poids à tout ça. Hein. Même Jamie Monson, les photos, c'est la résolution des photos. Moi, j'avais vu quelques-unes de ces photos-là déjà. Mais,
la résolution est telle que d'un petit rocher comme ça, quand il fait le zoom, c'est pas pixelisé du tout. Hein. On voit vraiment en détail. Hein. C'est sûr, c'est le petit robot Curiosity qui est allé prendre des clichés en très haute définition. Et c'est difficile, c'est difficilement descriptible, tellement lorsque vous voyez le reportage avec les photos et les vidéos que personnellement je suis bouleversé par ce que j'ai vu.
Puis tu as également fait une rencontre intéressante tout à l'heure, quelque chose d'assez inattendu, qui est une dame qui n'était même pas dans les conférenciers.
Oui.
Peux-tu nous parler un peu de cette rencontre du troisième type, si on peut appeler ça comme ça? Oui, Barbara Lembe.
Barbara Lembe.
As-tu un cas particulier qu'elle nous a parlé tantôt qui t'a particulièrement intéressé?
Mais il y a tellement de cas intéressants qu'au hasard, je vais en prendre un avec les reptiliens. C'est ces dessins-là qui a fait que tu avais accroché puis tu as dit il y a quelque chose avec cette dame-là. On était en train d'aller chercher un lunch et puis j'ai vu cette femme à côté de nous avec des dessins. Elle avait un porte-revue avec des dessins d'aliens, des petits gris et en même temps des reptiliens. Et j'ai dit pourquoi cette femme de cet âge-là porte un porte-revue avec ça. Et je me suis dit elle doit avoir quelque chose d'intéressant cette femme. Et puis on est allé l'aborder, et puis on a fait un reportage de quasiment 1 heure avec elle. Une grande âme, généreuse, gentille, qui n'a pas hésité à nous donner des informations personnelles, à nous expliquer des théories qui étaient quasiment plus des théories à la fin.
My clients I've worked with,
okay,
and they've described the beings.
Okay.
And she's like a forensic artist.
So she painted or draw these aliens from
people's descriptions.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people that were abducted or just
people who were abducted.
Oh yeah. Okay.
People who had experiences, or somebody who, in this case, somebody who saw a Bigfoot, maybe couldn't take a photo, but remembered
oh, this is a triangular UFO there, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
It's just a nice example of people being out in the night and seeing something.
And those are reptilians.
Reptilians.
Okay, different type of reptilian. Mm-hmm. And are these being seen during abduction and stuff like that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of people have abductions with reptilians.
Some of them recall these aliens?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah?
And I had an experience with a reptilian.
Oh, yeah, yourself?
Yeah, myself.
Okay, that's why you got interested in that topic and...
No, I was already doing this work for a few years before I had that experience.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, and how did that happen?
Well, in that case, you're going to kind of show that picture.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I had been doing regression work with people who had experiences with many different types of extraterrestrials, including reptilians. And then one afternoon, I was walking through my house, and suddenly, there in the middle of my house was a reptilian being, just standing there. And the sunlight was coming in through the window, and it was very clear. I could see really clearly, and I was awake and conscious and alert. I wasn't asleep dreaming.
Okay.
And so I was very surprised to see somebody there, and even more surprised to see that it was a reptilian being, a male. But even more surprised was the fact that he looked like such a nice guy.
Oh.
He looked friendly, he looked safe, and I was happy to see him.
So that wasn't a threatening
Not
encounter?
threatening at all.
Okay.
It was the opposite of threatening. And he had his hand out here like for a handshake position.
Oh, really?
And so I went right over to him, I took his hand and held it for what I thought was about 1 minute. But then I had another regression therapist do a regression on me, and then the experience seemed to last for more like 5 or 6 minutes, during which time he, one of these beings, spoke to me telepathically. I heard it only in my mind. Didn't hear a voice. No. And he already knew about that work I was doing, the regression work.
Oh, yeah,
with people to their extraterrestrial encounters. And he knew that when I'm doing that work, that I was completely believing it and trusting it and being right with the person who was reliving one of those experiences. And I had no doubt. But if I went away for a month or, you know, for a while, wasn't doing that work, sometimes the thought would occur to me, I wonder if this really could be true.
Yeah, you were
even though
starting to
in person.
Yeah,
and then I'd say yes, and not remember how real that was. But anyway, this being and other beings knew that sometimes I had those questions in my mind.
So they want to...
So he said he had come to be a friendly ambassador and to give me my own experience when I was awake, alert, conscious, in the light of day.
Okay.
So that I would know, and that I could hold his hand
that is real.
And know and feel him, see him. And he was about this far away. So I was looking up into these beautiful yellow eyes, bright yellow eyes.
Okay. And how tall was he? He was like...
Oh, well, he was probably about 5'4" or 5'5" at the most. So not a big, tall being, not like some of them.
So when you communicate with him, was there something about the abduction that were occurring, you know, within the human population, actually, or?
Oh yes, well, there have been for a long time. There have been many, many abductions happening in the human population.
Yeah, I mean, but was the communication with this entity kind of related with what's happening, what happened in a matter of abduction? You know, was the communication about that, or?
Well, it was really about me.
Oh, okay.
And about me believing in all of this while I was working with people. And then, in between, that because I had grown up not knowing about this all of my life until 1991, I didn't know there was such a thing as these beings coming and being with people. So my conditioned mind would sometimes think, could this really be real?
Okay, yeah.
And the amazing thing is that he and other beings who are out there in the cosmos, they know about our thoughts.
Okay.
We're very telepathic, and even from a great distance, they know. Because I've had other extraterrestrials talk to me through my clients, and they know me, even though I don't know them. So, and you know when somebody knows you, you know, when they say something, and it's so true, and you know it, and you haven't ever talked to anybody else about it, but somehow they know it. So they're amazing. They have abilities that are really outstanding.
Alien? Are they all benevolent?
Are they all benevolent?
Yeah.
Well, I think some of them very much are benevolent.
Yeah.
And some of them, I wouldn't say that they're bad, but they're more serving of themselves. They're here to meet their needs.
Okay.
And so some of them are more cold-hearted, and some are very loving.
What about the short grays?
Yeah, the little grays seem to be more self-serving.
Okay.
They come because they need us. They need something. They need the genetics, certain genetics that we have that they lack, and they need to have stronger physical bodies like we do. Some of them want to have the capacity to have emotions, which we have a lot of, and they don't.
Okay.
And and certain sensitivities like creativity and music and art and dance and theater and things like that. They see that we have a very rich life in terms of these other abilities, and they realize in comparison that they don't. Their life is very serious and matter of fact, very brainy, intellectual, mental, and they have been aware of us long before we were aware of them. So they want some of our characteristics. The main thing, I think, with the little gray beings is that they are in danger of becoming extinct.
Oh, okay.
Their race is dying.
Okay.
And they want to preserve as much as they can. Their species. So they want to combine with humans and human reproductive material and human DNA, so that at least the hybrid offspring would be able to live.
So there is a hybrid program.
Yes, I think there definitely is a hybrid program.
Okay, so do you think that these hybrids are on Earth, or there are some somewhere else?
From what I can tell, many of them live on the ships with them. And they are not a large enough proportion of humans so that they could live successfully on Earth. So they live on the ship or perhaps on another planet.
Okay.
But there are some hybrids who do live on Earth. I'm doing a lot of research about this right now. For a few years, but particularly this year, because I'm writing a book with a writer from England, and we are interviewing people who are ET human hybrids who live here. They're living their whole lives here on Earth. And these beings, these hybrids, are wonderful. They're some of the best of our characteristics as humans.
What about the involvement of the government in the cover-up? Because from my point of view, pretty sure there's a cover-up, but do you know a bit about when you do your own investigation about everything that you know? Do you know about that kind of knowledge?
Well, I hear about it. I cannot say very much about it because I don't know from my own experience.
Okay.
I hear other people talking about it and writing about it, and it certainly seems as if there is cover-up happening because we don't hear about it, do we?
No.
We don't hear about it officially. So, I mean, I or anybody could make that assumption. But I really can't say very much about it because I don't know for sure.
What about the other beings? Is there people that recall having some encounter with tall whites or tall blondes?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes. Many of the people I've regressed have experiences with these tall white beings. There are a number of different types of what we would call tall white beings too. And when we say tall, could be 7 feet tall or even taller.
Oh yeah.
Certainly taller than I am. And some of them, well, one I know of because I did many regressions of one client who kept seeing a tall white being who was her mentor. So in some of her abductions, she'd be taken to a situation for learning. She called it a library.
Oh, okay.
That she would be taken to, probably on a spaceship, we think. And it was a regular abduction experience. And but in that library, there were no books and no blackboard, no teacher. Well, she had a mentor who would come. So each student would sit in a sort of a barrel-shaped chair, which was attached to a screen. She said it was like a computer monitor and quite like a television screen, but yet different than both. But
okay.
It reminded her of those things that we have on Earth. And she would sit in this barrel-shaped chair, very, like a private little thing, even though there were other people sitting in their own barrel-shaped chairs with their own screen.
Okay.
And she would gaze into the screen and learn. Now, she said there was no writing, like she wasn't reading something to learn, but it was something about the movement of the light on the screen, like running liquid, she described it. And if she would just gaze into that, and her feet were in as kind of stirrups almost that were attached, so that she was getting information in her mind from, with all this technology, from the screen. And then her mentor, this tall white being, would come around every half hour or so, and he didn't have to ask her questions because he telepathically would know what she was learning. And if she seemed to be learning or remembering a little incorrectly, he would know that just by tuning in, and he would correct her with words. Yeah. So many people have discovered that they are, in some of their abductions, they are taken to some place of learning similar to that. And they're being upgraded and taught, trained. And many of the, I call them experiencers rather than abductees, many of them are being taught skills like psychic skills, telepathy, psychokinesis, many different abilities, mental and psychic abilities. And many of them are being trained to heal with hands-on healing, heal other humans when needed.
So it looked like there are many different species actually going out around Earth and having interaction with people.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the ones that I have heard the most about from most of these many clients I have worked with,
1,700, I think you said.
Well, 1,700 people have regressed to different experiences. Yeah. And so I hear about the little grays. I hear about little, very short, sweet, pure white beings that take people, sometimes to the UFO. Okay. And they're very nice. At least the people I know who know them, they're happy to see them. They love them. They love these little extraterrestrial beings. And then we have the taller gray beings who are different types, and some who are taller, but they look like the gray beings, the little ones, but they're taller. They're taller and thinner. Okay. And we have tall white beings. One of the groups is called Tall White Zetas. That's not their name, but that's what we call them. There are mantis beings, which consistently through everyone I've worked with who has mantis beings visiting them, those are wonderful beings. And they look like a huge insect, so they don't look like they would be wonderful from our point of view, but they are. They are wonderful. They're playful, they're delightful, they're loving, they're very wise.
I've seen it in your work that you have worked on previous life.
Yes, I've done many past life regressions.
And I've already heard about some of the people that have experience with mantis that they felt that they knew this entity from very long time.
Yes, sometimes that's true.
Oh yeah, okay.
And sometimes these people I work with discover that they were extraterrestrials themselves in a previous lifetime or many previous lifetimes. So there's more and more an understanding amongst some of us who do this work that we all of us humans are probably a mixture of human and extraterrestrial. That long ago, according to the work of Zecharia Sitchin and many others, that the early human beings were mixed with certain extraterrestrial races, and that we developed into modern day humans, as we know humans.
So is that what you can, is that what you found in your research? Is there any hint about this possibility that we're being mixed and our DNA is
it's come out some in terms of past life regressions.
Okay.
And even before I got into this work with extraterrestrial experiencers, I had been doing several years of past life regression therapy. And so before I knew about extraterrestrials for myself, before I knew that, I was regressing some people to previous lifetimes where they themselves had been extraterrestrial beings.
So
in some cases coming to Earth, in some cases living on another planet and not coming to Earth.
So we have to continue to see the world, but with an even greater open mind now.
Yes, that's
so
right.
We're not alone.
No, I don't think we're alone.
Okay.
I grew up thinking we were the only ones, you know, like most of us did probably, but no, I feel very differently about it now. And it's all right with me. I mean, I think that's quite wonderful, actually.
Yeah, what we're living now.
Yeah, that there are many, many different types, and some of these extraterrestrials are so much more developed spiritually and benevolently as a whole species than the human species is. And we have a lot of wonderful people.
So that's why we have to work on our civilization, and they seem to really try to help us to raise that.
They would like to, they are trying to help us, and that's why some of the benevolent hybrids are living with us all over the world.
Okay.
And they don't stand out, they look like humans, they behave like humans, they might eat slightly differently, eat more healthy diets than most of us do. They don't smoke or imbibe in drugs or alcohol or anything. They live, you know, simple, healthy, clean lives.
They're like aware of their condition. They're aware that they're mixed alien and
yes, the ones that
human.
I know about. I know 12 people who do understand that about themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all people who are really teaching and speaking and helping to raise our consciousness. and to be aware of the cosmos full of intelligent beings, and promoting the idea that we are all one. I mean, we see differences between us, but we really are all one, and we're all from the same source. We're all of the same source.
That's a good
So
message.
things like the different religions we have, different systems, different beliefs, that's really, according to these other beings, that's artificial dividing lines between people. And a lot of these extraterrestrial groups, they don't have that. They don't have separate belief systems and religions, because they understand that we're all one, we're all part of the God source. They may not call it God specifically, like we do, but they mean the creator source. So, and it's for all of this is part of creation. So why divide it up, you know? So I hope that we will eventually grow out of those artificial and troublesome divisions. They really do cause us a lot of grief.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara Land, if you have a last, comment about your work, or if you want to say something for those who are actually living some, experience with alien beings.
Yes, well, particularly for anyone who's experiencing encounters with alien beings, I would say I can really appreciate very much if you feel fear and you feel very puzzled and disturbed to have unusual beings come into you, especially if you're alone or in the middle of the night. And I certainly understand that difficulty that you may be having. But on the other hand, if you can find somebody really good, trustworthy to work with, to find out more of the details of those experiences, I would urge you to be open to finding out the scope of those experiences, because so many people I've worked with, and more than one time in particular, find that even the frightening things like medical examinations and so forth frequently turn out to be that they are being healed.
Okay.
They are being examined first, so that the beings know where they need to be fixed.
Okay.
And then a lot of healing happens for these people, as well as the teaching, the upgrading of spiritual understanding.
So the fear comes from a misunderstanding of what's happening.
Yes, and from what it seems like.
Okay.
And I understand that, my goodness. But when they can look into it more deeply, they realize that there are a lot of wonderful things that are happening. And that these beings who look so strange to us, so different, are really, in many cases, very, very advanced, wonderful beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara Land, thank you very much. It was
very
a
welcome.
pleasure.
And I wish everybody well who is experiencing this. And there's a lot of benevolence out there, and I just bless them dearly.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Elle, ça faisait déjà 25 ans qu'elle faisait de la recherche dans le domaine avec des habiletés puis la régression.
C'est ça, 25 ans. Et en plus de ça, n'importe qui, et je dis bien n'importe qui ne croit pas du tout à quoi que ce soit, reste à la fin de cette conversation en bascule dans « on n'est plus tout seul ». C'est une évidence maintenant. Peu importe ce que les gens en pensent, parce qu'ils n'ont pas vécu ce qu'on a vécu durant ces 4 jours, On est aux États-Unis, en Californie, avec des gens qui ont comme amis des cosmonautes, des gens du gouvernement, des gens de tout, des astronomes, de tout, des mathématiciens, des physiciens, des historiens qui ont 25-30 ans de recherche où tu peux pas dire « t'es qui toi ?» C'est plutôt toi, « t'es qui toi ?» Parce que quand ils t'en mettent plein la gueule, excusez-moi du terme, sur leurs recherches, avec des photos, des tests, des analyses chimiques et tout, tu es obligé de te dire « ok là, je peux pas faire, je te crois pas, t'es mieux de te taire et d'écouter ». Et moi qui suis quelqu'un qui parle beaucoup, pour certains qui me connaissent, j'étais muet comme une carpe. Marc, à vous, c'est bouleversant, c'est tout ce que vous voulez. Alors, la synthèse de ces 4 jours passés, on a rencontré des gens extraordinaires, on a rencontré des pointures comme Jamie, qui nous invite d'ailleurs à venir dans ses studios
au Mexique.
Et on a rencontré des gens de...
T'as pas rencontré l'ancien ministre de la Défense?
Oui, Paul Elieur, exactement, un grand monsieur, et très honoré d'avoir pris une photo avec. Et waouh, Paul Elieur. Alors j'ai rencontré aussi quelqu'un d'Hollywood aussi. Mais bon, ça c'est une autre histoire, c'est un autre chapitre que nous n'aborderons pas pour l'instant. Mais on a plein de contacts. On a été très apprécié de représenter le Québec. Et voilà, c'est déjà fini, mais on a beaucoup de travail à faire maintenant.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Parce qu'il faut continuer ce qu'on a fait. On n'est pas venu ici juste comme ça pour aller se baigner, même si on est allé prendre des petites saucettes dans la piscine. Normal, avec 33 degrés, on peut se permettre un petit peu. Mais c'était très intéressant, très enrichissant et très éducatif. Et quand on pense pas tout savoir, mais en savoir beaucoup, on se rend compte qu'on en sait très peu.